Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of TV is Our Real Mom. I'm your host, Dave, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, my sister, Katie. Katie, hello. How you
Hello.
doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm fine. Thanks for asking.
Good.
So, uh, what do you think? What'd you think of this episode of Survivor?
I thought it was a good one. A little bit
Yeah,
surprising twist ending. I wasn't that surprised.
not surprised. Why not? Why weren't you surprised?
This sucks because it's gonna sound too meta and like beyond the game. But like,
Mm-hmm.
what were we listening to? One of the podcasts was saying how Rourke and Allie were hanging out, and I was like, oh crap, they're friends.
They
And I was
went
like,
out close together, right?
or like they probably went on wherever they ended up, they were together. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
and they were
she's very
already hitting it off, right?
yeah, but like she said, it was just 4 days. So I kind of figured they had formed some type of bond. And
Yeah.
so, and
S-
also, that's the move. It's going
Oh
to end up
yeah.
that way.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't follow Twitter because I was still not sure what was going to happen, but I can see how you would
That
glean
wasn't
that.
even Twitter. That was from someone's podcast.
Oh, whose podcast?
Well, someone was saying he watched the show with Rourke and Allie. He watched it live with Rourke and Allie. I can't remember who it was. One of Rob's guests watched it with
Oh,
Rourke and Allie
yeah, I
together.
think I remember that, hearing that
I can't remember who it was.
like
But and then the next week they became tight on their tribe, and I was like, oh, I don't know. It was just something I thought of, and it turned out to be true.
yeah, it was a guy that was on that podcast
Yeah, I
recently. I
can't
think I
remember
don't.
who it was.
No, right. Okay, I never even thought about that. I listened to that podcast, but that
Right.
makes a lot of sense. But I do remember thinking at the time, I didn't put the details together, but I remember thinking like, I don't like when these guests say like, "Oh, I'm hanging out with the people on this season," because it's
I
like
don't like that either.
there's a lot that can be like sort of inferred from that, you know?
Yeah.
It's like just like you did, and I just
Yeah.
had forgotten. Wow, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
That really is.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm mostly disappointed with this decision because I just feel stupid because I was so high on Allie. I was like,
Everybody
I
was.
in the power rankings, I put her ahead of Christy at number one. I feel stupid now. Or
Well,
Chrissy, not Christy. Sorry.
we started last week to discuss some flaws in Allie's game, and because of what happened last week, which obviously wasn't completely her fault, um, there was no. She was in like a really rough spot. You know,
Yeah.
if they
Yeah.
had just gotten that eye on top and held it and gotten back, she would have made it to the merge, and who knows how much further she would have made it. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed while reading her exit interviews today, and you know, she had nothing but nice things to say about most of the people she played with, but she's really putting the blame at the feet of other people. Like she's not really taking any of the blame for herself. And I think there's things she did that led to this place, don't you?
Really, it's just there's only the one thing I can think of that pretty much gave them a reason to vote her out. Or maybe he probably wanted to anyways, but just
Mm-hmm.
like her reaction at the beginning of the episode, like just flipping out on Ryan in front of everyone and then like crying and just having such a bad reaction to it. I think that ultimately put the nail in her coffin because that just made Ryan feel like she hated him, you know.
Yeah, and he's a very self-conscious person, and if she knew him, she'd been with him since the beginning, so like she should have known he would react that way. I'm not saying it's her fault he acted that way, but that's one thing in her exit interviews, she's putting that argument on him, like it's all on him.
That he started the argument that it's his
Well,
fault.
that his reaction caused her to react the way she was, whatever, that he brought out the worst in her, like he set the tone of the argument, but
I
she
guess
would
I can
not let
see.
him speak.
Yeah, I can see what she's saying because like Ryan did sort of have because I've been like that before. I know what she's talking about. Where like if you
Mm-hmm.
get defensive, like it sort of like pulls into this emotion and it builds like the two people coming at each other being defensive. It builds into this like whirlwind, and I could see that Ryan was sort of like his emotions were high in that defensive tone. So I see what she's saying there. I didn't think of that, but granted, we talked last week about how Ashley's reaction was like
she did it perfectly.
Was so solid. Yeah, it's like
yeah.
That's what you need to do. I mean, granted, I don't think I could do that. I think my emotions would win, but like if like the perfect Survivor player would react more like Ashley and sort of like compliment the move and not give Ryan any indication that you're mad at him and that you would go against him. Just come back and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I see what you were trying to do. I'm good with it just as long as we're cool and it's JP next, right?
Yeah.
Like I would immediately be like trying to figure out, okay, as long as it's not me next, you aren't thinking of coming after me next. Like I'm okay with Rourke being gone. Like just don't leave me out of it. We're good. So if she would have made Ryan feel that way, I think she might have had a chance of staying around, because I don't think, well, Ryan talked in this episode that he was giving reasons for why JP might be a threat. But do you think that's all bullshit? Because like, does he really see JP as a threat at all?
Like, who in their right mind? I mean, if Allie was your tight number one and, no friction had occurred in your relationship, then I can see voting JP out. But JP is this blunt instrument with no strategic know-how. He can't even feign awareness of strategy. He can't even conjure something up at tribal council to appease Jeff Probst. He's got nothing. All you have to do is tell him what to do, and he's going to follow you. Why would you choose Allie over that?
Exactly. Yeah, that was Allie's only hope, was to, make Ryan feel comfortable. Like, I am your loyal ally. I don't care that you voted out Rourke without telling me.
Right.
And
get your revenge later. Cut his throat later.
That's why I completely agree with you that Allie is the obvious choice. Ryan did the best thing for his game, because I mean, the way Allie did react, now he said it himself, he's got an enemy in the game. And why would he want to keep someone who, as soon as she can get to the merge and find people she could work with, she's going to go right for Ryan. That's the person she's going to want to get out. So I think Ryan did exactly the right thing, as much as it sucks, because I like Allie. I put her at number 1 in my power rankings because I liked I liked her style so much.
I just listened to the 13 archetypes that Rob does, and Allie was number 1, the diplomat. So you're not the only one who was thinking this way, but she's really good, but she was a little too emotional. And I know Ryan, everyone's saying Ryan should have included her in that plan to get out Rourke, and that's probably true, but the damage was done, and that one mistake cost her the game. That's as simple as that.
Well, I think on equal footing with the fact that she basically made Ryan feel like he was a target of hers at some point, is the fact that she was a big threat and Ryan saw her as a big threat. Like, whether or not she was a threat to him personally, she's a threat to win the game.
Yeah. No
question. And why not take everybody? It's obvious in this episode, everybody knows the merge is coming.
Yeah.
So
they know.
What do? Now is the time to not worry about tribe strength and take out whoever, I mean,
this was the best time to get her out, because there's no blood on your hands. She's not going to the jury. She's gone. She can't mess anything up.
She's gone. I mean, I just think she has that natural, like, diplomatic ability that she would make a great returning player just for that.
Oh, for sure. I think
just for that her natural style, but
yeah, I think that's why she got such a golden edit, is because they really probably want to bring her back. She's like, people were saying, does Rourke have Wentworth upside? No, but Allie does.
Yeah, and I'm in the party of I would like to see Rourke again. I feel like there's untapped potential there, because she's such a huge Survivor nerd and she's so smart. But yeah,
this is what I don't get. Okay, and I hate to get into the Twitter of it all, but like last week, everybody was so upset because Rourke is a super fan. She's one of us. How dare you get rid of her? But then, and this week even more so, the hate on Ryan is it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about
And
that.
but he's a super fan too.
Let's talk about the Ryan hate. Where do you think
What
that's
makes
coming
him
from? Is
mad?
it just
I don't
because
know.
I have a couple ideas. First idea is Allie, her job is she's a celebrity assistant for Glozell, who is like a YouTube celebrity. And supposedly, I don't know anything about Glozell, but supposedly she has like
A lot of fans.
a bajillion, we're talking like a couple million YouTube followers. And that's like
Yeah.
if you have that many followers, you're basically on par with celebrities. Like you're
Yeah.
just as famous as like freaking some actress that was in a big movie or something, you know?
Okay.
And maybe even more so because your followers are going to be even more loyal because they listen to you every day and they feel like they know you.
Mm.
So I just wonder if like Glozell's followers are a lot of the like, well, it depends. I mean, I don't know how open Glozell is on her channel about like my girl Allie, you guys know my assistant, because Allie said she's been in some of her videos. Like my
Okay.
girl Allie's been in she's on Survivor, so
Mm.
make sure to tune in and cheer for her. So like I
Mm.
wonder if that's part of it, don't you think? Like all
I
Glozell's
mean, that's
followers are
probably
coming.
why she has some supporters because of that built-in online community. But I also think that just straight up Survivor fans love a queen, and that's who they chose as their queen, and she's gone now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's probably some of that. I would be curious to know if there's any, if anybody can figure that out and let us know if there's any truth to that. That
I'm sure it's
There's a
it's a
Glozell
certainly a
army.
possibility. Hmm.
There's a Glozell army out there attacking Ryan on behalf of Allie or whatever. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is, just before we came on, I was gonna try to rewatch some of the episode to refresh my memory,
Hmm.
because it's terrible. But uh, I was watching the scramble section of the episode, and Ryan goes into this like heartfelt apology and like makes Allie feel super safe, which I mean that's probably good strategy, but the extent to which he does it is it's kind of chilling, like how sincere it seemed, but
Well, it
yet
seemed to me, and I agree, but it seemed to me that he was truly wavering, and it wasn't until he talked to Chrissy that he made his decision. Because Allie said something in her exit interviews about how Chrissy was like so like unnecessarily committed to lying about like how she wanted to see Allie's face when her sister came on the beach for the family visit, when clearly that was no intention of Chrissy's to get Allie to the family visit. So it's like, if this is pre-jury, why do you care about like, I mean, I know you're not supposed to let the person who's going home know that you're going to vote them out, but it seems like they did go a little far in trying to convince her otherwise, because she was truly blindsided.
yeah, and as cold as that does seem, and it's very game body. I mean, look at Chrissy and Ryan. They're very much game bots. And
They need Ben and Devin back to
I
get
mean,
their humanity back.
as cold as that stuff seems, though, I mean that is part of why I kind of like got into Survivor, watching it when
Mhm.
I was marathoning all the seasons. I just was fascinated by the people who were,
Mhm.
I hope this doesn't sound too sick, but I'm like, I'm fascinated by the people who are really good at like deceiving people like that. Like
Mhm.
Ryan and Chrissy sound like they will like sell you a lie so deep and
Mhm.
just be so convincing. And at the end of the day in Survivor, that's good gameplay because they're making someone feel comfortable to the
Mhm.
point where they don't think they're going home, and thus your plans cannot be disrupted.
No.
And there's something fascinating about that level of gameplay, you know.
Mhm.
Um, and I think it's important to remember that it is a game. It's just a game. We don't know for sure if these people would ever use this extent of lying in their real lives, but
Well,
yeah,
Ryan did
it's
have an internship with a politician, so I feel confident that he would.
yeah, maybe he would.
Yeah.
But they're very good at it, and that makes them strong Survivor players. So that is why they're doing so well, and they're probably going to continue to to dominate the game.
Yeah, I do think it'll serve them well next week for Ryan to get Devin back, for Chrissy to get Ben back, and just, mellow them out a little bit, because two game bots together is going to be a huge turnoff to everybody else, and they're going to want to get them out. But if they're humanized a little bit by their counterparts, they're more likable counterparts, then perhaps that's something.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I just got done talking about, how awesome of a player that makes you to be such a good liar and game body. But we've seen before that can take away your humanity and make it tougher for people to vote for you at the end. Like,
exactly.
I think, isn't Spencer kind of cited as a common example of someone who, if you're just all brain and lying and strategy, like, how do you get people to vote for you at the end?
You don't.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's look at Sarah Lucina. Like, she was very Lucina. She was very deceptive.
Yeah, Andrea said it made her feel gross.
Yeah, and so why did they vote for her? Because it's a returning player season, and they value.
Because she was sitting next to Brad Culpepper and Troyzan?
That's it. But bingo. No, also because, yes, she did play an awesome...
She did play an awesome game.
An awesome deceptive game. But the human element wasn't there. So that made people not want to vote for her, but they had to because they didn't want to vote for her.
Well, I guess it's a weird combination because, like, the human element was there, and that's why people were so drawn to her, but that's why they were so shocked when she stabbed him in the back.
Right. I guess maybe it was there, but I got the sense like they were like, that was all fake. That what I thought was the human element, I don't think even that was real. I got the sense that the jury felt that way, but I don't know. Maybe
she did say in her final, speeches and stuff, she said that those bonds were real, but that's not going to stop me from doing what I need to do.
Right. Okay. Good point. Yeah. So she's able to convince them that, there is that level of humanity deep down, but I'm going to stab you in the back because it's a game. Right.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't know if Christy and Ryan, but people say good things about them. Like they say, Allie said Ryan was like a little brother to her out there. So I know they're capable, but I just fear that together they're going to come off as cold, which they did tonight. Last night.
Yeah, and I agree. Ryan, Ryan's likable at the same time, so he can do that.
It's funny because, when I was, and I've probably talked about this before, but like in the early days of Survivor, when we were just watching on TV, very casual, like I would root for the people that all the casuals root for and that sort of thing. But like, I don't see, like this season, like people are seeing some kind of demon reason to hate Ryan. And it's just, I can't see it. Like, I'm just not capable of seeing it. I think, I don't know if I'm just more capable of looking at strictly at game, but I literally can't see what these people are seeing. I know that they loved Allie and Rourke, apparently, even though she was barely on. And maybe that's why they therefore hate Ryan. But whatever. I don't know. I can't see it.
I mean, I can kind of see it. I mean, Ryan called himself a weasel in this episode. And he is a weasel. And he is... he can be cold. And he can be... like he's just very obsessed with Survivor and the cutthroat aspects of it. And that can be a little evil, but I mean, so I see that, but at the same time, I can see his sense of humor. He's enjoying himself. His gameplay, he's enjoying himself. So, I mean, it's not all bad with Ryan. I don't see it that way for sure.
Yeah. Me either.
He's pretty well balanced, he's got like a devil and an angel on his shoulder.
He looks more like a devil, a tiny little devil.
He is. He's like a tiny little devil. It was smart
to put him in eyebrows and his pointy face and his red turtleneck.
Yeah, I mean, they know what they're doing in casting and producers because he's gonna be a memorable character for a while. Yeah,
whether you guys like it or not.
He makes a long run. Yeah. If he wins,
he could go out right at the merge. People would be like, "Ooh, I don't know about this."
Yeah, well, he might have a bad. I think the only person that would give him a really bad rep would be Allie, and
that's why we got rid of her. Yeah,
exactly. So Chrissy
and JP are going to be a unit, And then JP and Chrissy have Ashley, and he has Devin. There's 5. And then she has Ben. I mean, and he maybe has Lauren. So, like,
Oh
it
yeah,
seems like it's
yeah,
going to be lights out for the healers.
yeah.
Although
I
they're
mean,
vitals.
yeah, we're getting into prediction territory a little bit,
Sorry.
but no, that's fine. While we're on that topic, I'll just say I agree with you that it looks like that ragtag group of hustlers and heroes are definitely all tight. Like somehow the bonds just lined up, and they're gonna outnumber the healers. So that looks to me where things are going for sure. Um, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I suppose we should just recap some more of the episode. So let's talk a little bit about Cole.
Ugh. She just gets
So,
worse every week.
so you really got a lot of Cole getting ripped on in this episode.
Good. I knew it from the beginning that he
Yeah.
sucked.
What exactly are they saying about Cole, Catie? Can you recap for us?
That he is a douche who eats more food than he needs to because he claims he's the only reason that they win. So therefore he deserves more food. And then he passed out because he wasn't getting as much food, and they gave him more food.
Yeah, I personally think there's something physical going on with him where that he really is starving more than everyone else.
That's because what he's used to eating off the island is ridiculous. He's probably got protein powder, shakes, and 3 steaks a day, and that kind of nonsense.
Yeah, which Ben actually pointed that out. He's like, Ben said something along the lines of like, he should have been packing on some pounds, or he shouldn't have been thinking about his 6-pack or something like that, right? And it's totally true. I mean, a lot of contestants in the past have done stuff like that. Like the big one that comes to mind is Garrett from Cagayan.
Yep.
Like all he talked about, like after he got voted out, was how before the show, he ate nothing but like chicken and vegetables, like, and that gives you like lots of muscle if you can eat a ton of chicken and no carbs and you're working out. But like, man, are you gonna be struggling if you have no body fat? That's what your body burns slow out there. So.
Right. Caleb is another one that comes to mind, although he was, super dehydrated, but also he was probably more starving than the others because he wasn't getting that food that he was used to.
Yeah, I think it was less with Caleb. I think he just pushed himself too hard because he
was kind of the opposite of Garrett. Garrett was just kind of like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And Caleb was like, I'm never going to be done. And then he almost was literally done.
But I think you're onto something with him too, that, he outside of the game in his real life, he's probably lifting weights, eating protein powder and chicken breast and vegetables to lower his body fat. So to lower body fat so his muscles show and stuff like that. His 6-pack will show. And that's just not conducive to sustaining energy on the island.
No.
Granted, Cole's pretty lucky. He's got a doctor and a nurse practitioner on his tribe.
They really snapped right into doctor mode. Dr. Mike did. You know what I didn't like at the beginning of the episode, where first of all, Lauren was trying to talk to him. He was silent, and then Lauren started talking, and Cole said, "Please don't interrupt me," while interrupting her. So there was that.
Yeah.
Not ridiculousness. But that was an ugly, ugly conversation. And what I did not like on Jessica's part was how she left. Instead of choosing to bond with those 3 people who were probably like annoyed at what had just transpired, she goes down to the beach with Cole. I feel like that was a bad move. I know she's following her heart or her lady parts or whatever, but I feel like that was a bad look for Jessica.
Not a great look for my winner pick. No,
not a great look. No,
because you got a guy who's obviously acting like a douche and
alienating everybody.
Yeah, I will say that. Yeah, there's really something physical going on there where he's starving. It is his own fault. I'm not saying it's not his own fault, but I think his bad behavior can be somewhat explained by his condition, because he was like You know how you're really hungry and you're mad, hangry?
Yeah, I'm a pretty big bitch when I'm really hungry.
Yeah. So I think that's what was going on with Cole. Also with a little bit of that's just the way he is. Like,
It's a
you know,
mixture.
it's a
Like that
mixture.
whole please don't interrupt me when I'm talking. Like he can tell he just wanted to say something to get at her, even though it made no sense because she wasn't even talk or he wasn't even talking when she spoke. But
And
she handled it well. She was like, okay, go ahead and talk. Ugh, I love Lauren and Ben and Mike. I wish those three would get together. They need to get together.
I mean, they were planning on it in this episode. They were talking about it.
I mean, they were, but I don't know where Mike really was. But I'm glad we didn't have to find out.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure Mike would have voted with the healers, but just because it was easy. And Jessica probably would have convinced him, don't vote Cole. But yeah, you're right. Glad we didn't have to find out because now we get to keep Lauren and Ben in the merge.
Yeah, who would have thought Lauren makes the merge? That's pretty cool.
Pretty awesome. And and like you said, Cole definitely in trouble, right? Probably like
Cole and JP, big time trouble.
I mean, Cole next boot, I'm guessing.
God,
And I just feel like Jessica's got to be right behind him, right? Like
I think so.
back to back.
I can see them being king and queen of Ponderosa.
But Ben and Lauren like Mike, so he can stick around a little bit longer, but his days are numbered. The healers are just screwed.
Well, they have the idols, though. If they can work some magic with those idols.
Yeah, they can knock out some people, but I think the numbers are still just going to balance out against them.
If, they can save themselves, but they still could knock out another healer and therefore lose a number. But, all you need is to buy yourself 1 week and you can kind of, like Dr. Mike could probably weasel his way in somewhere. We've seen it before where someone plays an idol, they stay, and then they work with that and they end up staying again and again and again. Someone else pisses everybody off,
Yeah,
Dr. Mike's not gonna go anywhere when Cole and Jess are around, I don't think.
And I mean, yeah, like you said, they'll be looking at JP, and then Joe. I think Joe is the first healer they look at after Cole. Like Cole is an easy one. They're not like worried about him having an idol, I don't think. But Joe, they might be like, oh, he's got an idol probably. So maybe they stay away from him on that first vote. But they're going to be looking at Joe pretty quick and trying to figure out how they can blindside him. I mean, that could happen next week too, but I don't know. I think Joe's going to be really good at sniffing that stuff out too.
Yeah, no, he's good. I like Joe. He's doing well.
I like Joe too. I mean, he's definitely got winner edit in this episode.
Well, both of our winner picks, if our predictions come to pass, are on the wrong side of the numbers.
So. Yeah, right. I just think Joe has winner edit. Jessica has what the hell is she thinking edit.
Wet blanket edit.
Yeah, because we have Joe talking about his family in this episode and what the $1 million.
That's true.
He's like, if I won $1 million, this would mean so much to my family. Anytime someone says that,
Yep.
It's over.
Just like Ben last week. Ben was talking about his family.
At least going deep, if not like winning, So,
well, if he keeps finding idols, he found that thing in the pitch dark. It was dark.
But he knew exactly where it was. Like the clue tells you exactly where to dig. Like
he said he laid down by the well because he knows how tall he is to like figure out where it was. That's smart.
How do you know this?
Because of the secret scenes.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. I don't have those, so I don't know anything about that.
You could probably find them.
Yeah, maybe YouTube has them.
They're somewhere. One of our listeners gave us a site last season.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we should check that out.
Yep.
You probably did, I'm guessing.
Yep.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, you want to say anything else about Joe finding the idol? I think Devin maybe should have kept a closer eye on him.
Yeah, he was so smooth. He saw it, but he didn't even like make it. He
get
just
excited.
Looked at it, walked away, like no reaction. That was smart. But I mean, why? If you give a reaction, you're an idiot. So.
Yeah, that's what's interesting about it just being a clue and not the actual idol is you just have to obtain that information, and that doesn't require any digging and making a scene. It just requires you look, gather, so go back and get it later. So
get it later. I thought for a second maybe Devin was gonna get it, but then I was like, Nah, Joe's the idol guy this season. Isn't that
He
funny
is.
that the two guys that had the confrontation in the first episode about the idol are the two guys, only two people that have found the idol so far this season?
Yeah, Mike and Joe. That is funny.
Mm-hmm.
That is funny. I guess that makes sense why they released that as like a promo scene now, because it's sort of like
makes a lot of sense.
It foreshadows certain things.
But it also makes you think the two people that had the idols most on their minds probably are the two that are finding them. It always seems to work out that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if you're motivated to find that idol, you're gonna look and
you're gonna find.
You're gonna find it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, also on that tribe, Ashley and Desi have a talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I don't really understand what Desi's saying. Like, she says, I know Joe wants to use me to a point. I don't know what that means exactly. Like, what point? To the end?
I read that as I am dispensable to Joe. I'm very dispensable to Joe. Of course, I would vote him out.
Okay.
Like I know he wants to use me as a number now because we have this history.
Yeah.
But he doesn't care about me. Therefore,
Joe doesn't
I would
care
have
about anyone.
No. Well,
his family.
It's good Survivor.
No, it is good Survivor. I hate when people get on these people. It's like he's playing the game.
Exactly.
Ryan, he's playing the game. Shut up.
Granted, I think, how many times I've been saying granted way too much lately. I'm sorry.
Granted.
Yeah. I'm gonna just slap me if I say it again. Okay? I cannot say that anymore.
Granted, you do say that a lot.
It's becoming a problem. It's becoming a problem. I just noticed that.
You're going to need to find another transition word.
Yeah. I think, it's a word I use, I think, for me to gather my thoughts and
it sounds smart.
Yeah.
But when someone says the same thing over and over and things
does not sound smart.
It doesn't sound smart.
Yeah. So, and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I forgot what I was talking about, but
you were talking about Joe, and I was saying how Joe and Ryan are getting hate, but they're playing the game.
Right. So I was just going to say that Joe needs to, make people feel more comfortable with him, that they can trust him. He's obviously not doing a good job at that. And that could be a big problem for him.
Yeah. Someone said in a podcast that I listened to today, I listened to like 2 today. But
you had a podcast too? You listened to?
Yeah, and I worked all day. But no, they said that Tony had alliances. We haven't seen what Joe has for alliances so far. Like, what does he have? Desi? That's it?
Yeah.
I
can't see anybody who really wants to work with him.
Yeah, so I think he's in trouble. He's going to have to keep finding those idols.
And that's annoying. I'm a little annoyed by when idols work out this way, where someone finds one in one spot and it's the same spot on another beach, or it's the same way in the same spot. And so the same person finds multiple idols. I get a little annoyed by that personally, but.
Well, it'll be different now that the merge is there, but I think, there's 2 idols already out there, so. Right?
I don't think they'll put another one into the mix right away.
I bet there will be an advantage, though, in the merge feast, which apparently is Outback Steakhouse.
That's the merge feast, Outback?
Yeah, they're like basically going to Outback, and there's like a waiter taking their order and everything.
Oh, okay. Outback on the beach.
Yeah.
Is the merge feast.
Yes.
Well, that's different, isn't it?
Quite so, yes.
That's okay. But that's something they haven't really done as much in recent years, right?
Yeah.
Integrating products into the sponsorships into the show.
Yeah, that's more of a Big Brother thing. The last 2 seasons on Big Brother, they've had an Outback dinner. And, there isn't even an Outback in this state anymore, so I forgot they were a thing. But
well, in OG Survivor, man, the old stuff, the advertisements ran rampant. They were all over the place. I mean, there would be beer sponsors. They would have beers, and they'd
Charmin.
Home Depot, Charmin,
Jack and Jill.
It would happen all with Jack and Jill movies. Yeah.
Wait, was that Big Brother or was that Survivor?
That was Survivor. Yeah. Jack and Jill.
You're right. Okay.
That was relatively recent too. I
That
feel
was
like
Coach.
Coach.
Oh, I love Jack and Jill. It was so funny. Okay.
Yeah.
Coach.
So they used to do the integrating of advertisements more. So yeah, interesting to hear that. I did not know that was a thing that was going to happen.
Yeah, they always release the press photos for the next episode like the day after. So I always look at those.
Right.
Get some intel. It doesn't show you anything.
So yeah, you already said you had read into the metadata a little bit.
I didn't do that, but that's just where my mind goes.
No, you're good at that. Good for you. But I was completely fooled because, well, not, I knew that Allie was probably likely. By the time the votes came, I was like, you know what? It totally makes sense for Ryan to vote Allie. Like, that's probably what he's going to do. So I had figured it out by the end.
Right.
But in the middle of the episode, I think it's after the reward challenge, you get this random JP confessional that is like, so I was so convinced in that moment. I'm like, oh, well, JP's going home.
Dude, is that a new thing where they're doing the post-immunity confessional after the reward challenge now? Because they did the same thing last week, and it was Allie saying, I hope this isn't, something that, to me, telegraphed the fact that Allie's going to tribal council, and something's going to happen with Rourke, Allie, and Ryan.
Yeah, apparently it is a thing, because I totally thought that was the most telegraphed boot I've ever seen in my life. In that moment, I was like, I have never ever seen on this show such a telegraphed boot. And I almost said it. Katie. But I just say, but how about that?
How about that?
Okay, how about that? But it does end up being, however, it ends up being that tribe that goes to tribal council.
It does. And it was the same last week with that post-reward confessional. When last week that tribe lost the reward, this week that tribe won the reward. And yet that tribe gave the confessional both times because they were the ones that would end up going to tribal council.
Right. So in a way, it is still telegraphed.
Yeah. But although that immunity challenge was tight and I had no idea who was going to win or lose, I was like, maybe they will lose. Maybe they will win. Maybe they'll make it. I didn't know. They really did a good job of, even though they gave that supposedly telegraphed thing after the reward challenge, at the immunity challenge, to me, it was all up in the air. And I was like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Right. Yeah, it was another good job on the edit as far as they did give us something, and it wasn't totally weighted to one tribe or another, but they did give us something from each tribe.
Yeah.
Like who could go home and why, basically.
Although we didn't get anything from Levu till really deep in the episode. I was like, where's Devin? Because that's usually what's top of mind for me when I'm watching. And we hadn't seen anything from him until like the middle of the episode. But then we got the Joe finding the idol, and it was a pretty sizable chunk of stuff. So
yeah, but before they went into him finding the idol, there was a lot of talk between Desi and Ashley about him getting booted. So that's where I was like, okay, this tribe could go, and it could be Joe.
You're right.
This could be the Joe thing. So, I liked when they balanced that out, so we're not totally sure.
Yeah, no, they did that very well.
A decent job. Decent. So
remember people used to say "Dees"? How was it? Oh, it was "Dees."
I still say that.
Oh, okay.
I still say
I wasn't sure. It feels like a very like high school, college age thing.
Katie, can you tell me, is it possible to forget how to talk to pretty girls?
Yeah.
So he was so hungry he forgot how to talk to pretty girls, or was this just a stupid?
Oh God, I hate those two.
Or is this just a stupid thing Cole was saying? Because
this is perhaps right pre-fainting. Because when he fainted, he was like blah 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 blah, and then he fell.
Yeah. Well, so like he was on the ground and he said, "What'd you do?" Like,
yeah, it was scary. I was scared for a second.
No, that is scary when people lose consciousness and their brain is still firing.
Yeah,
it's firing nerves on its own.
Yeah,
it's very like inhuman, and it's very scary.
That's creepy.
Yeah, so that's why I feel for Cole, man.
And
Like
he like
I
face
hate that.
planted.
Loss of consciousness and then like sort of like do like
Yeah.
tweaking and then like waking up and be like, what? He didn't even remember doing that. He's like,
Mm-mm.
what just happened? Yeah, that shit is scary as hell, man. So
Yeah.
I feel bad for him in that sense, man.
In that moment, I felt sympathy for him. But that's
Yeah,
it.
it's bad. It's bad. Uh, what else do we have? We have Mike. You know, Mike is going Survivor man. He's fishing
I
and
loved when Ben looked at the camera and he was like just enjoying how Mike dropped the fish in the fire and he was just looking at the cameraman. Oh god, it was so
he broke
funny.
the fourth wall.
He did like Sandra did last season. It was pretty funny.
Sometimes that's okay, as long as it's like few and
Not
far
too
between,
often.
and it's
Yeah.
funny. You know, I guess
I
it's okay.
really like Ben. Nothing has come out of his mouth that hasn't been like, "You're right, Ben. You know the score."
But that's because he's getting a hero edit because he's gonna go
But
far
he's
into the
saying
game.
those things. He's thinking those things. But I will also say the same of Lauren, although I didn't agree with her bashing redheads. That was pretty mean. But other than like this episode where she was like, "What is she gonna go live with him in his van?" Ugh, it was so funny.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I forgot he said that.
Savage.
That's
No, that
pretty
was
savage.
Lauren.
What?
That was Lauren that said that.
Oh, sorry, I forgot she said that about
Yes.
him. Sorry,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I meant. Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
um, I don't know. I think we covered the episode. Catie, do you remember anything else that we didn't talk
No, I
about?
think we did a good job. I'm all ready for the merge. Yeah. So maybe we should make some predictions or MVPs
Wait,
first.
first, have you ever tried tri-tip salad?
Yes, I used to work at a restaurant that served a tri-tip steak, or just not a tri-tip salad, tri-tip steak. I was trying
See,
to put
he
my
said tri-tip salad.
He did. That means you put the tri-tip in a salad. Like I don't know why you'd waste a tri-tip by putting it in a salad. But tri-tip is good.
Do you think it's like a salad with like leaves, like lettuce and stuff, and then the steak is the
Yes.
meat in the salad? Okay.
You're not going to waste tri-tip by putting mayo on it and some noodles. That's not a salad.
Have you ever put wood in the back of your truck?
I've never had a truck, so no. But I have put wood in the back of my car.
Okay, good. Yeah, while we're on that topic, can you just talk quickly about that interaction between JP and Ryan, sort of in that scene where they sort of they're kind of juxtaposing JP, how JP is and how Ryan is. You know what I mean?
This is where I think some of the Ryan hate came from this week.
Because he's a dick.
Because he couldn't relate to JP, and I'm like, people were saying how they felt bad for JP, and I'm like, since when do we? He wasn't. Did he say something to JP's face that like?
No, but it's like he's like mocking him, you know, and
because he doesn't get it.
Yeah, honestly, I feel a little bad for him too, but I mean, it's kind of, I mean, life is harsh and Survivor is harsher, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Ryan, king of the social game, chose to like laugh at JP, but I don't think JP cared. He's thinking about his tri-tip salad and his next date by a bonfire.
Yeah, I just think of that moment, like when they come back from the immunity challenge after they lost, and JP's like tries to like crack a joke, like to play the social game. He's like, "Wow, Jeff must really like us. He wants to see us again tonight, Tribal Council." Oh. And yeah, like everyone's like, ugh.
Yeah, maybe that's what's happened. Is that
he's just like not a good fit with those guys.
Yeah, but the JP thing for the audience is going from like, wow, this guy's nothing, to like almost feeling bad for him.
That's where I'm at. Honestly, I'm feeling a little bad for him.
But like, he's a beast in the challenges. Did you see him in that reward challenge?
Yeah, he's really good. I don't think he's gonna be able to keep up on the puzzle stuff.
No,
there's endurance stuff too. I mean,
yeah, that's what people always say that, but these immunity challenges, and people always bring up Joey Amazing, but Joey Amazing like is a yoga person, so he's got balance, he's got strength. He was very well-rounded physically. Like you can't just be a big muscular guy and do the things Joey Amazing was capable of doing. As much as I hate to praise the man. There it is.
Yeah, I do feel like JP is probably way smarter than we give him credit for. You know, just because that's how good at expressing that's how those things always are. You know.
Yeah.
I'm sure he is, or he's just not that smart. I don't know, But
Or he literally is granite. There's nothing
right,
there.
it's revealed at the end of the season that JP
Have you been a statue the whole
literally,
time?
literally was made out of granite. Literally,
That's funny.
reanimated in a lab somehow with
I can see
science.
it. I believe it. I would
Yeah.
not think you're crazy if you told me that was true.
Yes. Yeah, so I just wanted to comment on that. So let's get on to MVP for the episode.
Yes.
Who do you got?
Jeez.
Who do you got?
I guess I had kind of a
Catie?
silly pick last week when I picked Lauren. I kind of want to pick her again just for
I
the
know.
van comment,
I was
but
just thinking that.
I will pick Joe.
Yeah, there you go.
He found another idol. Good for him.
Yeah.
Buys him another week.
I'm gonna pick Ryan because that was the right move, and I think it was probably very difficult for him to, be aligned with Allie, betray her last vote, and then have that conversation with her when he's thinking I really do think you're right that he was thinking about voting JP out. He was considering it. Mm-hmm. So he had to have that conversation and then ultimately go and vote her out because it's the right move for his game. Yeah. Extremely difficult. And also, as much as, it does make him look like a dick the way he's treating JP, but it's so true that he's just so sharp with that observation of,
I think we saw one moment of him being a dick to JP, but if you remember after the reward challenge, he jumped over to him to hug him.
No, he's not being a dick to JP's face. He's doing it behind his back.
Well, everybody is. There's things like that memes all over the Survivor Reddit right now.
Yeah, well, exactly. So, I mean, it is what it is. But point being that Ryan, when compared with JP, I mean, Ryan's game is on point. And
yeah, haters gonna hate.
He deserves the MVP again. I'm pretty sure I've given it to him at least once, if not more times. So
I think Lauren's gotten 2 from me.
So. And she deserves them too. She does.
She does.
All right. So predictions for next week.
Cole, go away.
I mean, I think Cole makes a lot of sense here. I'm trying to think. I just feel like that group has to get together. They have more numbers than the healers, and they'll probably go after one of the healers. They're going to pick the one that they perceive as the threat and challenges. I don't think I can disagree with you here. It just makes too much sense to go after Cole. Mm-hmm. So I'll just go with Cole as well.
We can only hope.
Just for fun though, maybe we should pick an alternate. Can we agree on an alternate?
What if something wacky goes down and Ryan goes home?
I think that would have to be Joe would have to idle him out, or Mike would have to idle him out. Because I think Ryan's got the troops on his side, so it can't be a numbers thing. It would have to be.
You can't split the votes either because they do have 5 people. So you kind of just gotta hope. Yeah, that's tough.
So maybe you could get some idle craziness, and you got to wonder who would Joe want out if he was to. Do you think he would go after Devin? Because Devin.
I don't know. Maybe he'd go after Devin, but I think he might go after just someone he doesn't know, like Ben,
JP.
Maybe JP. I don't know. This is going to be cool to see everybody come together and what they think about each other.
Right. I think Cole, if you're going to look at probabilities and best bets, I think Cole is definitely the guy. But can we agree on one? What are we going to say?
Well, I thought we agreed on Cole. That's where I'm putting my money.
Or alternate.
Oh.
So there's 2.
I got to be honest. I don't see anybody but Cole going home next week.
Let's just say JP.
Okay. Yeah. I saw a picture in the press photos of JP, Cole, and Devin sitting together. And I was like, move away, Devin. Get away.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it, right?
Yeah, that's it. Merge time next week. Woohoo.
Merge time next week. Very exciting time. We will definitely be podcasting again next week on that episode.
Exactly.
Catie,
Yeah.
are we going to do Stranger Things this weekend, or
Yeah, I'm gonna watch the last episode right now.
do you have
Right
the
after we're
weekend
done
off?
here.
So
I have
maybe,
Saturday off.
okay, you want to go Saturday?
We're just gonna do one episode, right?
One episode. Yep.
Yeah, we can do Saturday.
All right. Podcasting about Stranger Things on Saturday. So watch for that.
Yes.
Not that anybody cares because there's probably like a bajillion Stranger Things
There's even
podcasts.
an after show on Netflix called Beyond Stranger Things.
Oh,
You
God.
know, I can relate to hipsters a little bit in that when Stranger Things first came out, it was like I just kind of heard a little bit about a show that takes place in the 80s that has Winona Ryder in it that was sci-fi, and I was like, well, that sounds cool. And now it's like, Stranger Things, Stranger Things, Stranger Things. It's everywhere.
Yeah. Well,
But it
yeah.
deserves to be.
I have an opinion on that as well, but I'm going to save it for the podcast.
Okay.
So, all right. So that'll do it for this episode of the podcast. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen to all of our nonsense. And you can follow us on Twitter at TV is our real mom. Please give us a thumbs up, a subscribe, or a comment.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.